the time, right? So the final incident happened when I had gotten home from work, and he was talking at the time about putting out our daughter, mind you, it was his biological daughter as well. But he wanted to put her out when she was 18. She wasn't an unruly child. She was just being a teenager, like teenagers are. Um, but he was like, well, he couldn't handle any kind of conflict at all. So he was talking about putting her out. I ended up saying, no, we're not going to put her out. But for whatever reason, he decided to slap me on my face. So here I am being slapped in the face, sitting on the bed. And so he know that I'm going to call the police. Let me just rewind a little bit. I had called the police like maybe twice prior. But each time I call the police and, he'll leave, I invite him back, right? So here's the third incident. So he knew I was going to call the police. He did not want to go to jail. So what he would do is he took my phone, right? He took my phone. And so I was like, okay. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? So he wanted to go and get some cigarettes because he was stressed out. He wanted to get cigarettes. I don't know how this happened, but normally when I get home from work, I had a little purse. I put my keys in the same exact spot every single time. I knew where to look for them. I put them in the same spot in my purse every single time. But this time, for some reason or another, I didn't know where I put my keys. So when he wanted to go to the store, I was like, where are the keys? Maybe I dropped them. So what had happened was he gave me back my phone. What I did is I got on Facebook Messenger. I texted a trusted church member. They were my pastors at the time. I said, hey, I'm ready to get out now. I don't want to ever come back to this. I said, here's my address. Do not call me. I said, he put his hands on me. I said, I want out. Call the police, but do not call me back. Because my husband at the time, he was a non-certified black belt. And he said that, his uncle who was a trainer didn't certify him because if he did hurt someone, he didn't want him to do a lot of jail time. So he was a uncertified black belt, right? So I found myself in a situation where I did not want him to find out I texted someone. And I did not want someone to call me back to ask me questions about, something. So I said, please don't text me back. Please don't call me. Here's my address. Don't call me. Don't text me. Like clockwork, he grabbed my phone again. He went through the phone to see if I texted someone. This is wisdom for some women, right? I didn't use the regular text message method. I deleted the conversation that I had on Facebook Messenger with the other person. So he didn't have any evidence that I reached out to anyone. Fast forward, we're looking for the keys. So I said, well, maybe I dropped them outside. Maybe someone turned them into the office. So I said, well, because I was nervous. My thought was get out of this house because he had this rage look in his eyes. I was like, I don't want him to murder me, like strangle me, or I don't want him to strangle me or, get a knife and stab me to death. These are things that are going through my head because he also, when I was saying something about, going to the office or something, at one point he grabbed my neck, he threw me on the bed, and he was like choking me. Yeah. So I was like, okay. He wants to go to the store. I want to get out of this house. I said, well, let's go walk outside. I said, well, I volunteered to go to the office myself. He said, I'm going with you. Remember, he's afraid now that I'm going to contact the authorities. And to be honest, I was going to get in the office and say, hey, Can y'all help me? I'm sorry about the sun. Let me try to stay in the shade. But I was going to try to go in the office and say, hey, can somebody help me? You know, that was my mindset. So I ended up, he walked with me. He walked with me to the office. Just so happened, at the entrance of our apartments were police officers. We were almost at the office, but he looked and he saw police officers. He said, "Did you call the police?" I said, "No, you saw my phone. You took my phone." He said, "Why are the police there?" I said, "Well, I didn't call the police. You saw that I didn't call the police. You took my phone. You looked at my phone." He said, "B, I will kill you right here." Mind you, it was about 4 p.m. on a beautiful day like it is. I know y'all can see my background. It was a beautiful sunny day like this. This happened November 2015. Beautiful sunny day. It was a nice cool day. So he said, "Did you call the police?" He said, "I'll kill you right here." He then proceeds to grab my neck and slam me down on the ground. I had to do everything I could to protect my head, right? So I didn't want to bust my head open. So I managed to sort of brace myself in a way that I protected my head. So then I was like, I didn't call the police or whatever. So he grabbed me. He said, "Let's get up and go." So he put his hands around the back of my neck. At one point I did scream for help. Nobody outside, right? Nobody outside at 4 o'clock. Not even the kids, not children, not babies playing. Nobody was outside. I was like, man, my main thing is I didn't want my kids to be a statistic saying that their mother was killed during domestic violence. So that's my prayer. That's my thought. I can't let my kids grow up without a mom. That was my thought process. So I ended up marching with him. Mind you, I'm trying to think of the way I'm grabbing his cup is how he was grabbing my neck. The way I'm grabbing his cup is how he was grabbing my neck. He proceeds to march me towards the apartment. A few days prior to that, or a day prior to that, it had rained, right? And so I saw a patch of mud, and I at that time I intentionally slid down because I'm trying to buy time to figure out what I can do to keep from going back in the house, because now he's afraid. He's afraid he may be going to jail because he saw the police, even though he know I didn't call the police. In his mind, somehow I contacted the police, right? But he saw the police. He's like, okay, they come to get me. In actuality, they were, because the people I reached out to had called. So, but I didn't call. So here I am. I slipped down in the mud intentionally, right? Because I have to buy time. I was thinking, I can't let my kids be a statistic, right? Well, ended up, he picked me up. He picked me up and he proceeded to grab my neck again to march me towards the house. And when he got to the door, we had a little apartment that had like those little apartments with one step to lead to the doorway. When we did that, he ended up having keys in his pocket. Well, he had his keys in his pocket. And he briefly let me go. I believe that's how it happened, because it was traumatic to me. He briefly let me go to get the keys out of his pocket to march me into the house. But I knew that was like a death sentence. So I break away from the little one step to the side of the step towards the window to try to get to some kind of safety. There's a field across from my apartment. I said, well, I'm gonna just break away over here. Well, when I stepped off of the side, I fell. I felt my leg buckle underneath me, and I fell. And I told him, I said, I think I broke my leg. At the time, I didn't think that. At the time, I thought maybe I would have sprained my leg, but I did not think I broke my leg, right? Well, He, after opening the door, proceeded to still try to pull me in the house. Because like I said, now he's afraid. He don't want to go to jail. So I was like, man, if he gets me in that house, I'm done for. I'm dead. And when I tell some people this, they, chills run down their spine. But that's where I was. I said, I know I'm dead if I go in the house, if he pulled me. I was dead weight at that time because I couldn't do anything. Like I said, I told him I broke my leg, but I didn't believe it was broken. I believe I sprained it. So when I was yelling to him, I can't do anything, I think I broke my leg. Our neighbor, who I only said hi and bye to, a Caucasian lady who lived directly in front of us, she said, you let her go right now or I'm going to call the police. Now, he was upset about that. He said he exchanged some words cursing at her, and he went in the house and closed the door. At that time, I think I had a mini nervous breakdown, so I was like trying to crawl to this lady because I couldn't use that knee. It was my left knee. I couldn't use that knee to do anything. So here I am crawling with two hands and my right knee saying, please don't let him kill me. Please don't let him kill me. I'm freaking out. I was trying to crawl. She said, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just then, the landlord came who was, I think she was doing a tour of the property. And this little boy came. He said, they came up, said, you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. This young man, his little boy, probably like 13 years old. He said, I saw some police up there. Do you want me to go get him? I said, yeah. I said, yeah. So they went to get the police to come where I was. Mind you, I was outside. I was still thinking that, hey, he's upset. He could come out here with a knife and just stab me because I am defenseless now. I can't move. The young lady she was at the door, I think she was calling the police too. She was like, he's not going to hurt you. He's not going to hurt you. Let me tell you something that was weird. Her husband was in the house also. He was like a private investigator or DA or something. He did not come help at all. He did not come help. But the woman was helping. His wife was helping. But anyway, so here I am. The cops come. And the landlord, who was, like I said, doing a tour, she came, and there was a Hispanic guy out there. They was all trying to help pull me away from there because I couldn't do anything. So what happened is, once the police got there, they started drawing their guns. Because I told him about the history. He told me he had a history of fighting police officers in California. He said 6 police officers had to come help one officer or something like that. He was so strong. But anyway, I ended up with a broken leg after all was said and done. While let me tell y'all this part. When I was when the police was about to come, they came on the scene. They said, we need everybody away because we don't know what this guy's capable of. We don't know if we got to open fire. And I'm so sorry this video is so long. They said, we don't know if we're going to have to open fire. So this little tiny landlord, if I tell y'all, she was tiny, very petite, very small. She probably weighed 100 pounds. Soaking wet, as some people say. Her and this... Sorry, it's a motorcycle. Her and this Hispanic guy grabbed each one of my legs under my thigh, and they began to proceed to take me away from that area. And for some reason, y'all, I screamed like on repeat, like I had a mini nervous breakdown. I was like, I couldn't control it. Because I realized I could have just lost my life. So I couldn't control this scream, but they were able to pull me, take me away to safety. And eventually, they got him. I think he surrendered without any confrontation. So they were able to take him to jail. So why am I telling y'all this long story? And I'll probably tell you the rest of it later. But I'm telling you this because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, right? This is the month that we acknowledge that domestic violence is happening. It's real. There are victims who did not make it out. Let me tell y'all this a little bit. In my apartments, I told y'all this incident happened about 4 o'clock. Nobody was around. God spared my life. I will say God, because God warned me before I got involved, this is what this person is going to do to you. I had a dream exactly what he was going to do, and it happened like it was, right? 2 weeks later, a couple around our same age, man and woman about 40 years old, in apartments not too far from ours, in the same city, around the same time. Let me tell y'all this. This young lady had gotten into an altercation with her significant other. He chased her in their apartments in broad daylight where people were outside. People were outside. In my situation, nobody was outside to help me at first. Nobody was out there when I cried for help. But in her situation, he chased her down with a knife. When all these people were outside witnessing this, he stabbed her to death in broad daylight. And I thought about how blessed and how thankful I am. I ended up with a broken leg. I had to have 2 surgeries. I couldn't hardly walk for like 6 months. I was in a wheelchair. I was on a walker. I was on crutches and then a cane before I was able to walk again. I had to go through a lot of hours of physical therapy. And I still have a scar and I still have a limp. But I thank God I'm here. And I'm saying this to say that it breaks my heart, because some people always say, well, I would have done this, I would have done that. But the truth is, you don't know what you would have done. Until you're in that situation, you don't know what you're going to do to survive. So stop trying to say, I wouldn't have done this or I wouldn't have done that. You don't know. A lot of women are dead today because they have that attitude, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I ain't going to let no man do it. Well, you don't know. Truth is, you don't know what you're going to do. If you're ever in that situation, you can only pray, God, help me to know what to do. Because my prayer, while I was in that relationship, my prayer was, God, bless me and my children to get out of this alive. Because he had threatened. He said, at one point when I was still in the house, he said, I'm going to kill all of y'all MFs. And that's talking about me and my child that I have on my own and the child we share together. He said, I'm going to kill all y'all MFs if y'all say anything. And I believed him. He was crazy. He had crazy in his eyes, crazy in his head. He was crazy. And so my prayer is that those of you who see this video, get out. Don't play no games. Stop thinking you can fix that man. You can't. I couldn't fix that man that had bipolarism. I couldn't do that. I wasn't no certified doctor or mental counselor or therapist. I wasn't able to do that. That wasn't my assignment. God didn't assign me to that. Get out. Because here's the thing that was even more frustrating than all that. It altered how our relationship. My daughter and I, our relationship mended after a bit. But my son, he still needs therapy. He still sees me in a different way. It hurts because we were always so close before this came about. So when you're in this situation, it's not just you. It's your kids. You taking your family in this. When I say your family, not just your kids, your mom and dad, your sister and brothers. Everybody going in this relationship with you. Everybody going through this as well as you. Because I know you're going to tell somebody, and they're not going to see your man the same, your husband the same after you tell them. So get out of it. Pray and ask God to help you to get out. God will do it for you. If you say, God, I want out. If you will just help me to get out safely. Lead us somewhere where we can be protected. I ended up going to a domestic violence shelter. And they ended up giving me a home because I had to recover due to my injury. I had to live on, I think it was Social Security for 2 years and all that. But I wasn't downplaying it. God provided me with that. God blessed me. He set things up in order so that he could get me out. So I just want y'all to know that God is able. He's a protector. And don't let this happen and you not do anything about it. I love y'all. God bless you.